Hey y'all, this is Church from Church's Intake. So let's get into it. You know, when God got you in that season of all gas, just gas, sky's the limit, just go, keep on going, grinding, going hard, going even harder once you go hard, pause. But, yeah, God wants you to also, I guess He wants you to, take it all in, enjoy a little bit of your progressions and levels of achievement that you made in your life, the success that you keep on obtaining and growing to grasp more success, all gas no brakes, but take a moment to think about the greatness that you just overcame or the stagnations that was in your way. Embrace it. Thank the Lord for helping you to achieve accomplishments that you never thought would ever happen if He didn't give you the mindset and the encouragement and the foresight and the get up to keep on pushing, because there was some things that was trying to keep you down, trying to keep you away from getting to the goals that you're trying to get to. And He just keeps on elevating you and just keeps on pushing you to keep on going harder. And He's just like, yo, you got this. And then you'll take a step back and just know that, it might have hurt you a little bit. It might have put you on like, yo, maybe I should pause for a second. But then God's in your ear like, nah, keep on going, all gas, and you're like, yeah, let's go. Let's get there. And then once you get to a certain plateau, it's like, what next? And then He's like, yo, let's keep on going further. Let's do something else. Let's achieve something else. Let's achieve another goal. Let's make you a super monster. And then you just keep on going. And it's just, sometimes you just got to sit back and take it in, because, those minions is always going to try to be in your ear or, trying to cause, stagnations and, throwing a little woo-woo witchcraft at you and things of that nature. And it's all a part of the process, man. You can't get to the level that you're trying to get to, or the level that you thought you were trying to get to, but you already superseded the level that you wanted to get to. And it's like, yo, what do we do now? And it's just like, let's go up from here, you know what I mean? We just gonna keep on going up, and it is what it is. And, it's just, just an accomplishment. And you should just thank God for just growing you and just keeping you going, you know what I mean? Making you who He wanted you to be from the beginning, You might have thought about some of these things that you wanted to accomplish in your life, and then, circumstances had came and stopped certain things, and you were just like, I don't think I can do that no more. Maybe if it was another lifetime or something, but you only got one life to live. This is the lifetime. This is the time. The time is to do it now. Who cares how old you are? You could be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, Shoot. Abraham had a son when he was old, man, It's just like all these things, all of these different things, God is just like replenishing you. He's giving you more youth in your latter days. He's, growing you and expanding you. He's just showing you different things. And as long as you got the mindset of growing and learning into the unknown, you're just going to keep on excelling. And these are the times that God was talking about, when He had, them close the book in the book of Revelation. He had John close the book. So there's things that no one knows that's going to transpire. And that was the reason for the book being closed, because we do have other entities and things out here. And if it was all written down from point A to the end, they will have other means of weapons to try to destroy the true children of Christ. And that's why you have to build your own relationship with Christ, God, and walk in the wilderness of the unknown, so you can unlock these things that others don't know. There's things that's going to be brought to you that no one knows about. And they'll be like, how did you learn this information? There's things that I don't talk about that I know that other people don't know. You can just, and you can put out fillers, and you can talk to somebody and kind of beat around the bush on certain different, things that you want to speak upon. And then it's like, what do they know? And then you can pull out the fillers and be like, all right, well, we ain't there yet. The people, we ain't there with that with mankind. Like, a lot of people don't know about these things. This might be something super over their head when you start to talk about things that God be downloading to you. You be like, yo, they be like, oh, where'd you get this from? And you be like, and what they're gonna be like, and then down the line, you could spit out a couple things, and it's just like, oh, I think I heard that before. They definitely have heard it before, because you're the one that told them to them, but they heard it down the line. So that's how you put out little fillers to see where people are. But there's things that God's gonna tell you that other people just aren't gonna know, and that's what it is. And certain things that God wants to show you, and he's going to tell you, and he's going to have you tell the masses, so they will know. And then there's other things that he's going to have you to keep secret, so it's for your understanding, so you can operate in the world that we live in today. Because of all this AI and all these other different things out here, you have to be, what does it say? You have to have the full armor of Christ on. You have to be, vigilant. You have to be aware of if you're giving them too much information about yourself, about the things that you got going on with your life, things that you still want to accomplish. Like, once the things are set in stone and God wants you to reveal certain things, then you reveal it. But when it's still in process, and this is what a lot of people get caught up in, when things are still in process, people want to start saying, oh, I did this and I did that, and look, and they'll put it on their Facebook, look what I'm doing right now. And it's like, yo, they don't know, because they don't understand the warcraft and what people would try to do to stagnate their process, and then they'll be mad or a type of way, like, man, I messed this up, man, like, I lost this job, oh man, I failed my law exam, and oh man, I didn't get my doctorate's degree. It's like, you should have kept quiet until you had it done. And now you don't have to worry about why. Or saying that I'm doing this right now, and in 6 months I'm gonna have this, and in 6 months you don't possibly have that at the time. You could have probably had it in that 6 months, but the reason you didn't have it is because you had told a demon your plans. And then they did their little whoop wop. Stagnation. Not saying you ain't gonna get there, but you're stagnating yourself. Just like we can always go to, when we talk about these type of things, we can go to Joseph and his brothers. Joseph probably didn't have to go through half of the things that he went through to get to that promise that God had told him. But some of those things was going to transpire anyway. So God, when Joseph said some stuff, God made it in such a way that it will all be beneficial. And some of the things, his time where he had to spend, could have been shorter. Who knows? it had to still go in that same type of process, but you get what I'm saying. It's just like, as soon as you say something, somebody going to be right there to try to knock you off your pedestal. That's why it's just like, sometimes it's just, it's better to keep quiet. Even for me, for instance, like, I used to be a very talkative person, telling people a lot of different things going on, telling people about this, that, and the third, until I started catching on to game about, dang, why would I told somebody this and I told somebody that. Like, now, why is this stuff taking so long? Why is the process so slow? And it was only when God started really waking me up to the situations about, like, why are you telling people things? And then that's when I stopped telling anybody anything of importance until it was set in stone. You know what I mean? Like, even my wife, I would be like, oh, it depends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm going to tell you yet. Hold up, let me make sure that this is coming to fruition first, and then boom. But my wife understood that because we on the same accord with that type of deal. We already kind of know. It's like, just like if she has something going, like, I don't need you to explain nothing to me that don't need to be explained until it's done, you know? Like, do what you got to do, even though I would never in my life do something towards her. But it was just like, for me, I know how the devil works. The devil will use anybody. He would even use, like, you know what I'm saying, like, shortchange the people that's actually supposed to be for you. But it's because you're saying things to them that's not supposed to be given out. They could be slipping it up, not saying that they're slipping it up on some purpose or on some devious thing, but they can slip it up to the wrong person, and that wrong person, you know, it's just like how the spirit goes into different types of people, different people. So once that the entity needs to hear what they needed to hear from you, say your wife's friend's friend heard the scenario, boom, bop, boom. Or you told your oldest child, and you know what I mean, saying, and the child told someone else that they thought was cool with them, blah, blah, blah. And it's just the domino effect. You never know. It's just like that movie, a couple of movies, but that Denzel movie, what was that joint? Where the spirit was jumping into people, you know what I'm saying? I forgot the name of the movie, but yeah, it's a Denzel movie that was definitely with Azazel in it. You know, they were talking about the angel Azazel, and he was just jumping into different people as an entity and something about, you know, he was a cop and all this and that. But I can't think of the name right now offhand. If I start to think about that, I'll be wasting so much more time. But, you know, it's something like that, you know. Entities is always around you. There's so many different people that believe in these things. People don't believe in spirits. But if you believe in God, you have to know that there's spirit and there's a spiritual realm. You have to know that there's sons of God. There's called the sons of God and son of man, which are two different things. Sons of God would have to be the angels, and son of man would be a human being, you know. But, you know, that's here and there. So what I'm just saying is, some things you just have to keep to yourself until they're done. And there's a lot of people out here that just got so much to say before they're done with something. Like, oh, I'm in school for this. And it's just like, maybe the process would have been a lot smoother or quicker if you probably didn't say nothing. Sometimes it's not like that. It ain't going to be that. But, you know, it depends on the person as well, too, you know. But a lot of people just talk so effortlessly, thinking that everyone is to help for them. Like, they want to get compensated for them going to achieve another goal, and that's just not how life goes. Like, people aren't really happy for you for trying to better yourself, which is the saddest thing, but it's true. Like, people really aren't happy when you're trying to better your life or make a change in your life for the better. You know, say you wanted to, you know, you was a drinker and then, you know, you went to Alcoholics Anonymous and you accomplished that goal. Like the people, your old drink buddies and them, they gonna be mad at you. Like, you ain't have to do all that. Like, you know, like you trying to, what are you better than us? Like, yeah and no. Like, yeah, I'm better than I ain't doing this no more. But no, it's not that type of deep. It ain't deep like that, you know. And a lot of people just, they just, the mind, the mind of a human is so wicked at the majority of the time, you know. It's just, people just think so rash, so envious of others, you know. People are so jealous instead of working together. You know, they just so like, oh, if they're doing that, I could do that so much better. And it's just like, sometimes you could, and sometimes you can't. And then what? You're gonna be mad that you can't do it better than the person that, you know, started doing a new process of something. It's just like, oh, why aren't you gonna help me? And it's just like, some people don't even want help from a person that they feel as though that they're better than and stuff like that. Like, people just need to just check themselves, man. And it's like that. It really is. It's like that. It's crazy. But you know, I'm just rumbling a little bit. But like I was saying, you know, embrace those accomplishments that you have already. You know, the new accomplishments and the goals that you set forth and you accomplished them already. Maybe God didn't tell you to express yourself or express those accomplishments yet, but you know, soon enough you will be expressing them. Or maybe you have a couple more things that you have to get to cross that finish line, and then you just can't say certain things because it will mess up the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish. But you know, just take a minute and a moment to yourself. You know, thank God for what you have achieved and what you didn't let stop you from accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. God bless. Take care. This is Church from Churches and Tips.